Are you preparing for the DevOps interview or want to level up your AWS skills? In this video, I'm sharing real world scenario based questions and the answer on EBS, S3, and EFS that are commonly asked in interview and used in the production environment. So, struggling to answer the real time DevOps questions in the interview? So, let's fix it. Let's directly jump to the questions part. And first, our domain will be like EBS. EBS generally stands for Elastic Block Storage. So, first question is all about your EBS volume is running out of space. How do you resize it without downtime? So, for this particular part, we have 3 to 4 things we have to do. First of all, we have to stop unnecessary services if needed, but don't stop the EC2 instances. Okay. Then we have to modify the EBS volume from the AWS console or the CLI part. Then third, we have to, after modification part, we have to connect to the EC2 instances and we have to use resize to FS or some about the disk management part. Okay. Now, all of this changes has been done. You can up the services and you can just quickly check with the things how the things are being flowing. So these are the particular step by step things which you can just quickly check and you can just quickly go without the downtime part. Second, you accidentally deleted data from the EBS volume. Can you recover it? If yes, how? So if you have EBS snapshot created before deletion, so we can restore from the latest snapshot, like we have to create a volume from the snapshot and we have to attach it to the EC2 instance and mount it to the retrieval data. But if you don't have a snapshots, okay, so recovery of the data is not possible in this particular case. So EBS don't have recycle bins, like it's always allow a regular basis snapshot. So snapshots are been quite important in this particular EBS volume when you want to recover your data. Moving to question number third, how do you backup EBS volumes and automate backup processes? So for this, we have AWS DLM, which is generally stands for Data Lifecycle Manager, to generally automate the EBS volumes snapshot. Okay, so here also the place comes off the snapshots only, like we define the policies like backup frequency, retention counts, text to the wall, select volumes part, and we also integrate CLI, SDK, CloudWatch can be also integrated for the fine-tuned automation. So here, the major role play is done by the DLM part, which is generally Data Lifecycle Manager part. Okay. Now, moving to question number fourth, you want to move an EBS volume to another region. What step would you follow? So as we are moving to the EBS from the other region, we have to directly first of all need to create a snapshots part. Okay, we can directly move the part. First of all, we have to create a snapshot. Then we have to create the copy of that particular snapshot into a targeted region. Suppose right now we have a snapshot in US East 1 and we have to create a copy in AP South 1. So we have to copy those particular snapshot into that particular region. And from the snapshot, we have to create a volume and we have to attach to the EC2 instances in that particular targeted region. Okay. So now moving to the question number fifth, explain the difference in the performance cost between GP3, or we can say what are the different types of we have EBSs. Okay, so we have GP3, we have IO2, we have SC1. So basically in the current scenarios, a major part we generally use is GP3 volumes over here, and we have use cases for general purpose workloads and cost is moderate only. But if we are using IO2, like it's somewhere expensive, it's hard for the high performance databases like Oracle or SAP part. And then if you're using SC1, so it's generally for the infrequent accesses, cold data, and the low throughput part. So these are the generally 3 things, but majorly the company generally asks like what are the we have performances on this particular, what are the volume types. So you can generally say we have a GP3, we have IO2, we have SC1. These are generally 3 types we generally used into the part. Now, moving to the second part, that is our S3 storage part. This was all about the EBS part we have seen. Now move towards the S3. S3 is nothing but simple storage services. Okay. So first question is all about how would you make a S3 bucket securely yet publicly readable for the static hosting. So for this, we have a special feature into the S3 that is enabling the static web hosting onto the buckets part. So using the bucket policies to allow objects like get object access to the specific things like index.html while denying everything. We are just we have suppose we have index.html, we have error.html, we have multiple, but we are just allowing access to the index.html file. And then blocking the public access settings must be done appropriately. And for production, consider using the cloud fronts with the OAI or OCA for the tighter security. So we are just providing the public segment, public access to the only the index.html. Rest other will be in the private part only. Now, moving to the question number 7, you stored logs in S3. Now your costs are growing up. How can you reduce the cost? So for this particular part, this is the major concerns which company directly think on it, because cost is the one of the major concern in the cloud part. So for this, they generally use the lifecycle rules. Okay, what they do, suppose the logs are of the 1 month older part. So they just try to move their logs from S3 glaciers, from S3 storage to the S3 glacier or the S3 intelligence. These are the archive logs. Okay, this somewhere costs so less, like it's a negligible cost. So we have to just transit our older logs to S3 glaciers, and we have to expire logs after X days. Like if we don't need it, so we can just create a script or a kind of cron job. So it will be deleting your logs like in a 1 week or 1 month after 1 month. So we kind of do that particular part only. So, okay. Now moving to question number third, how would you enable versioning on the S3 bucket? What are the impacts of enabling it? So uh, using the enabling versions, like we can use by using AWS console or CLI part to enable part. We have both of the options. You can directly go to the consoles and you can enable the versionings. But now, what are the impacts? Like we generally helps in the recovery from the accidental delete. Suppose someone has accidentally deleted, so we can recover from it. Then we have to increase somewhere increase the cost also and usage also. So avoid that. We also try to have the versions part, and you must manage object versions like lifecycle rules or delete marker. So as a before we talk about the lifecycle rules, we have S3 glaciers, we have S3 okay storage. So we have different life cycles. So where we can also impact. Okay, moving to question number 4, you want to replicate objects from one S3 to another in the different region. How would you set up? So we for this replica part, we have to enable the cross region application, which are generally known as CRR. This is the much used in the company recently, like they want to send the deployment data, because the company have a huge kind of data in different regions. So we generally uses a particular CRR part. Both source and the destinations bucket must have the versioning enabled, and we are also looking for the configurations and application rules specifying prefers and the destinations part. We set up IAM roles policies allowing the applications permissions. Okay. Now moving to question number 5, what you will do if someone accidentally deleted an important S3 buckets, can recover it. So here are the two cases. If yes, like if the versioning is enabled, like we just talked about a versioning part. So in this versioning part, what we talk about, suppose impacts are like it's helped in accidental delete. So same here, if versioning is enabled, the object isn't permanently deleted, it is just a delete marker. So now we can just remove recover from it, but if the versioning is not able, the object will permanently delete it. We can't recover from it. So that's what's ill about the from the S3 part. Now moving to the EFS part, that is elastic file system. So we have seen the questions of S3, we have seen the question of EBS part. Now we are looking the question for the EFS part. Now what's the question number first says, you want to share the file between multiple EC2 instances across multiple AZs. Which storage would you use and why? So for this, we generally use the EFS part, not EBS, which is easy around it. Okay. For the EFS part, we generally provide EFS generally provides the NFS S4 like this, which is the file system mountable on multiple EC2 instances across AZs part. So it supports scalability and concurrent parts. So for this particular things, EFS is something much suitable for this particular file sharing part. Moving to question number second, your application needs faster access to the files from the EFS. What you do for the improve the performance? For this, we generally use the provisionized throughputs instead of bursting mode. We increase the throughput part, so input output operations gets much higher, and enabling the EFS intelligent try for the performance cost balance. And we can also optimize application access pattern and use EFS access point to the reduce the latency pass. Okay. Question number 13. How would you mount an EFS system on to the EC2 instance in a private part? Okay, so for this particular mounting the things, we have to ensure the EFS mount target exists into the particular subnets. It should be accessible. Then we have to go to the EC2 instance and have to install the NFS client. And we have to ensure the security groups that allows the NFS ports also. That is the port number is 2049 with the EFS part. Now you have to go and you have to run the commands like sudo mount -t nfs4 -o the nfs versions and what all the regions you generally have. So from this, by using this, we generally conclude we can mount from for the EFS part. Okay, from the using the NFS client. Now, moving to question number 4, how would you handle the backup for the EFS and automate it? So, for using the backups part, we generally use the AWS backup services to schedule the automate backups of the EFS. Like we can also run the cron job. Like cron job will be some things like it will automatically run whole day by day for the backupping the part. So this generally causes and helps a lot. Then we have to define a backup, assign resources using the tags or ARN to send the retention source. And optionally, you can use the AWS Lambda or CloudWatch event for the customer logic. So we can customize logic according to us by using the CloudWatch and the Cloud Lambda. So this was all about the questions for the EBS, EFS, and the S3 bucket, which are generally asked into the interview questions part, into the interview perspective part. If you want such more question on the, some particular topics, you can do comment me. You can let me know. I will try to create the videos on this particular part. So these are the questions which are been generally asked by, for me into the multiple interviews by the multiple companies. So these are the real-time scenario-based questions. So well prepared. All the best for your interviews. If you're beginner, if you're intermediate, and if you're advanced. So these are the some questions you need to be well prepared. Thanks for watching this video. If you like the video, please share and subscribe. See you soon next video.